Welcome, criminologist. Welcome to Let's Talk About, a series where I sit down and talk about things that pique my interest and what I can find research. Today is criminology. When talking about criminology, I'm talking about crime and patterns involved or the act of crime in general. Criminology is typically a placement word that is an umbrella of the world of criminal justice that covers a load of topics, thus allowing me to make a series on it. Today, we're going to understand how I get most of the data. So now we have to kick it back to the basics. Where I get most of my crime is coming from the Uniform Crime Report, or the UCR, and the National Incident-Based Report System, or NiBRS, both made by the FBI. For those of the two people that don't know what the FBI stands for, it means for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, those guys that like to carry really small badges, big guns, and always wear a suit and a tie. To understand the statistics of the UCR, we first have to understand what it's made out of. It's supposed to be made out of the 18,000 police departments made up across the United States, but at the same time, we all know not every single police department reports all of their crimes. I bring this up because it is important. It only captures the known figure of crime. It does not capture the dark figure of crime, thus giving it the title dark figure. Now, for the people who don't know what dark figure is, the dark figure of crime is any crime that goes unreported. Just like what one of my professors says, we only catch the dumb ones. Back to the UCR. The UCR reports into two different parts, literally called Part 1 and Part 2, which is serious and a little less serious. The Part 1 offenses include murder, criminal sexual conduct, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, larceny, arson, and motor vehicle theft. Like I said, this is the serious stuff. Part 2 offenses under the UCR should cover the rest of the crimes that are known under the sun, like vandalism, DUIs, and other drug violations. This is still notable crime. It's just not as violent. But remember, it's still serious crime. Part 1 or Part 2. Probably asking me, now Rye, how can you read all this crime? It just looks like a whole bunch of numbers.
We want the numbers, Mason. That's all we've ever wanted.
How are the statistics calculated? Don't worry. I'm getting there. So any crime is read by the 100,000. So if someone gives you the number of 236, that means 236 crimes are reported per 100,000 people. This is so all numbers can look even and be compared to cities all across the United States. I can tell you Ann Arbor or Grand Rapids, Michigan is not going to be comparative to anything like New York City. So if New York City compares their type of crimes to the million, so say that there was 3,400 robberies per million, you would have to divide it by 10, so you would get about 340 per 100,000. Say the city of Lansing is made up of only 10,000 people, which I think I am surely underestimating that population. But if they were to report their crimes as 30 robberies in a city of 10,000 people, that means we have to times it by 10 to get the total number, or the proper rate of per 100,000, which would be 300. So now we can compare that 300 to the 340 that we got from New York City. See, the math is easy peasy. In all reality, it helps criminologists like you and me to analyze the data and start to figure out what to do to either prevent, deter, or make connection on what is going on in the criminal world. Now, you're asking, what is the true difference between the UCR and NiBRS? Well, a lot, but also at the same time, not. NiBRS is a part of the reporting that the UCR covers. The UCR, again, is a big umbrella that covers everything else. NiBRS is the type of reporting that people are doing. UCR, back then, only required police departments to include SRS data, or Summary Report System data, which is just a tally of crimes per month. So say, hey, we had 40 robberies and 1 murder this month, and that's the only thing they reported that month. NiBRS is statistical reports that goes much deeper than just a tally mark. It provides data about specific crimes, like where we're at, the time of day, the circumstances of the crime, and whether the crime was cleared. Cleared is code word for solved either by an arrest or other means like dissolving the crime of any suspects because of the lack of leads. Cleared just means taken care of. NiBRS can give us a big statistical data of who was committing these crimes, age-wise, race-wise, and at the same time, gender-wise. For anyone who knows what ComStat is, NiBRS is basically just like that, but nationally. The only thing that you're missing is the drilling by high brass at the end of the year. UCR's SRS data is now becoming obsolete because the FBI made it a top priority to make all reporting-based data NiBRS-based. In fact, as of January 1st of 2021, the UCR program will only have NiBRS data. Say goodbye to SRS data and hello to more criminal statistics. statistics. NiBRS helps criminologists understand who is really committing the crime, and it creates the world of more data to be examined and linked together. Now, let's go take a look at what NiBRS looks like. Something to cover is that the UCR covers more than just NiBRS-based reporting programs. It also covers hate crime statistics, law enforcement officers killed and assaulted, the national use of force data collection. It also collects law enforcement suicide data. Looking through all of this, you can go to the FBI and go to Crime Data Explorer to look through all of the other statistics that they have. To remember, bureaucracy takes time. With all this time, we only have statistics up to 2019 for crime in the United States. Looking through this publication, you can see that 2019 is published fully and with all these other tables. It can be offenses known to law enforcement, tables 1 through 24. You can see all the clears. That will be tables 25 through 28. The one thing that is good about NiBRS data is that you're able to look and see who is actually being arrested. We can look at tables 29 through 69. The specific one that we really like to look at, table 43, arrest by race and ethnicity in 2019. Looking at this data, we can see if juveniles are being arrested, and then we can also see what type of juveniles are being arrested and what communities are being affected the most. If you want to check out any of this data, I will put the links in the description. Any and all data that is gathered here and made into the video today is going to be under the references in the description below. This is of course a class project, so let me know how I did. See if you want any more of these. If you want to continue on your criminology adventure, go ahead and click up the cards up here. If you'd like to continue Let's Talk About series, go ahead and visit my page. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you later, criminologist.